Hey, it's Lisa here. I'm a business strategist, content and digital marketer, mom, wife, foodie, traveler, lover, and someone who gets knocked on their behind more than you probably could ever imagine. But I just keep getting up and going. And today, I'll tell you, outside, it's like a monsoon. I know you probably can't hear it, but the rain is hitting the windows so loud and fierce right now that I almost can't take my eyes off it. And sometimes these are the days when we look outside and we think, no, I'd rather stay in bed. It's dark, it's gloomy. But when you have a mission and a purpose and you know the necessary things that move the needle, you get your butt out of bed and off you go. Now, I also have a 5-year-old who gets my butt out of bed incredibly early, but my mission is what makes me put my butt in this seat and bring content to you. And that's what I want to talk about today. What do you do when you're not feeling it? What do you do when you've been knocked down 100 times and you know you need to get up that 101th time? What are the things in your business or maybe even in your life that are necessary and the things that produce the most income and impact that you want? Because I believe there is a huge difference between busy things, like things that take our time, and actually productive things. And I know I got caught in that trap of just wanting to tick things off the to-do list and get it done and never going back and going, wait a second, is this having the outcome that I want? Are people actually opening up my emails? Are people reading my newsletters? Are they reading my blogs? Are they tuning into this podcast? What podcasts get better listens or videos get better views than others? What are those topics people want to know? Let's do more of that and less of the things that aren't moving the needle. I used to post on Facebook like 3-4 times a day, every day. And honestly, it didn't produce really any direct income or impact. That was really the only way that I built my business in the beginning or shared any information about myself, was just with social media. But getting into it and looking at it, I realized there's other platforms that people tune into, like LinkedIn, like YouTube, other areas I got to start playing in. But then once you start looking at all of that, you go, well, how the heck do I manage all of this? How do I manage every social media channel? How do I manage writing? How do I manage speaking? How do I manage client care? How do I manage a 9-to-5 if I have that? And what I want to tell you is that the key is to not add more on your plate. So if you were around in the early days with me, I used to teach that 6 roles, the John Maxwell thing that I heard. And it was, you can only have 6, yes, 6, not 16, not 66 roles in your life at any given time. And man, at the time when I heard this, like 5 years ago, when I was killing myself on social media, this was before even Facebook Live came out, posting was all that you could do. Instagram wasn't quite yet as loud as it is now. And I was thinking about all my roles. And I was like, I'm mom, I'm wife, I'm nurse, I'm personal trainer, I'm nutrition specialist, I'm grocer, cooker, housekeeper, gardener, daughter, friend, chauffeur, soccer mom. Like, I had like 20 roles. I was network marketer, 21 roles. I just had all these jobs, all these roles, all these responsibilities, and it was making me crazy. So when I had to think about what those 6 would be, that is what started to open my eyes that mom and wife are the 2 most important to me. And then eventually, it took me a while to come around and realize that myself is a necessity. It can't just be what I do for everyone else. And then when I looked at my business, I went, hang on, hang on, hang on. Do I need to be doing all these things? Do I need to have all these jobs? Because I think that is the curse when we are driven and successful. We start to say yes to all these revenue streams and opportunities that come into our business. And I have a lot of people that come to me that are making $500 with this and $20 with this and $200 with this and $100 with this and $600 with this and $2,000 with this. And they think by the time they add it all up, they're good. When in all actuality, if you went really deep with just one, that could probably produce way more income for you than spreading yourself so thin. So over the years, my 6 roles mentality and that training has morphed, because we do morph every year. That's the beautiful piece of a birthday, right? Is you get to see how far you've come and get to plan where you're going and what you're doing. And I have it narrowed down to 6 necessities, I call it now. Remember, get you up out of bed on a rainy day after the kiddo goes off to camp, or he's at a play date today with his friends. I love my friend's mom. So thankful for her taking him. And 6 necessities that you need to do. 6 necessities. So not necessarily roles, because again, I feel like if you get into the role, it only takes you so far. Because if I want to break down my role as a mom, or my role as a wife, it's like food on the table, picking up everybody's laundry, arranging the play dates, getting ready for back to school. Like there could be a bajillion tasks under that. So I've now streamlined it down to 6 necessities that I want you to do every day. Or I want you to think about, what are your 6 necessities? So for me, I carried over time with Eric, time with Oliver. Every day, have to have present, fully focused, even if it's a 5-minute making up a story before bedtime with my little guy. He loves to make up stories as opposed to reading stories. Even if it's just that really intentional, fun time with him, that's got to happen. Maybe it's a 5-minute conversation where my husband and I sit on the couch and have a cup of coffee at 6 a.m. before the crazy day starts. All right. Maybe it's 5 minutes before bed. Maybe it's 5 minutes at lunch going for a walk. Maybe it's longer if it can be that. But sometimes it's just short little moments that I realize have to happen in my day because it fills my cup up and it grounds me to why I do what I do. Because sometimes I feel like if you just do it for yourself, you'll bail on yourself. You shouldn't, but we do. Think about when you get busy. What's one of the very first things that go? Usually it's self-care. It's your workout. It's your nutrition. It's your personal development. It's your meditation. It's that girls' weekend that you plan that you're like, I can't go now. So when I am tied to the impact that my actions are going to have on my husband and my son, my butt gets in the seat and I do what I need to do in my business and my life. Then the next 2, remember I said there's 6, Eric, Oliver, present time with them first, hubby, son. My next 2 is exercise and meditate. Now I'll tell you, the exercise comes naturally to me because I've always loved exercise. My first business was in health and fitness. But for me, I've now worked it in as part of my speaker training. I don't want to say package, but for lack of better words, yeah, it's like I'm practicing my voice, I'm practicing my physicality, I'm practicing my content. Exercise on my body needs to be operating at a high level. I need to be able to move. I need to be able to be agile. I need to be able to captivate an audience, and my body tells a huge story. So exercise now is not I hope I can release some stress and get that in today. Exercise for me is part of training, which is why that's a necessity. And of course I feel better after I do it. That number 4, meditation. I'm a bit late in the game on this. Right now in this present moment, I'm not going to say I suck because that's not very positive, but I currently struggle with meditation, which my friends tell me that are master meditators. It took them a while to get there, and it's okay to be squirrel brained and worried about everything and thinking about 100 things, which is why I need meditation. So I've now made that a necessity to get me in the right headspace to be my best self, to show up as my best self, to put out my best content, to be present with my family, to be able to go hard in my workout, or maybe if it's not go hard, to be able to really be present in those Pilates, yoga, softer workouts that I do. Meditation is a necessity for me to get in the right headspace. Then my last 2 of the 6, I got to put out a piece of content that's valuable, and I got to make an offer somehow for someone to come and work with me or check me out in a different way. So when I say content, I started, as I said, just social media, but now it's podcast, it's blog, it's live video, it's emailer, it's newsletter. This piece of being omnipresent that you've probably heard is a necessity, meaning that you've got to show up multiple times in multiple ways for people. Now you can take one piece of content and multi-purpose that. And I've talked about that on lots of my YouTube videos and podcasts. So go back and check those out if you want something specific on that. But I create one piece of content and I share it with people in as many ways as possible, because 8 seconds is now how long we have until you become distracted and start looking at something else. So if you're only hitting people one way, like me, social media earlier in my career, in my business, people are gone. They're on to the next cat video or donkey video or cute picture of the kid video, and they've forgotten about me. As opposed to when they get an email, when they see my podcast, when they see a blog, when they get my newsletter, when I put out some offers. You've got to hit people in multiple ways. You can't just show up once, in one way, in one fashion. I've now added hosting workshops and some offline components to my business, right? So content, relevant content. Every day I have to put out a piece of content, or I have to multi-purpose some content. And then that last one, offer. I got to make sure at the end of all that I am offering a way people can work with me, or my content is leading up to an email or a workshop or a speech or a place that I'm going to be making an offer and making it frequently. One of the reasons why you don't have more business is because you're not offering for people to work with you. And when they say no, you're going, oh, they said no, forget it. Not realizing that people say no, 8 seems to be the number of the day, close to 8 times before they say yes. 8 seconds, 8 times. So those are my 6 daily check that moves the needle in my life. Time with Eric, time with Oliver, exercise, meditate, piece of content, offer. And you can see I almost have that broken down into family, myself, business. Those are like my 3 buckets. So I challenge you, what are your buckets? And what are those necessities? Like, notice answering email is not in there. I used to be a ninja about, I used to joke with my husband because he would have there's 2 types of people with email, right? He would have 9,987 unread emails in his inbox. And I'm like, oh my God, how are you not freaking out that you're not missing something? And I would get an email, answer it, get an email, deal with it, get an email, delete it, get an email, archive it. And that was my measure of how productive I was is all my email answered and taken care of by the end of the day. But guess what? An email is rarely benefits you. It's usually other people asking for something from you. You may benefit from it in the long term. People may say, hey, I want to have you on my podcast. Hey, I want to feature you as a speaker. Hey, can we get together and chat? It may in the long run benefit you, but their ask is because they want something. They want to coordinate or connect, and it's on their agenda, not your agenda. So there's sometimes whole days that I go and I don't answer my email because it's not priority. Meditating, exercising, spending time with Eric, spending time with Oliver, putting out content, putting out the offer. That's more important to me than checking email, right? So think about those things that are distractions. And it's not that they're not well-intentioned distractions. They just don't move the needle in your business. I doubt that email moves the needle in anyone's business. Now, that's not to say you shouldn't answer it and you shouldn't be attentive to that. Of course you can. Just don't be checking email every 5 minutes. Don't be scrolling the news feed every 5 minutes. Don't be taking phone calls and answering every time your phone rings when you're trying to put out a good piece of content. That's for me, at least. So I challenge you to think about what are those things in your business, your life, your relationships, 6 of them that must get done every day because they move the needle and they get your booty out of bed. Tell me about it. Email me, lisa@lisapezik.com, LISA@LISAPEZIK.com. I would love to know so that I can see trends and themes and, what are those things that people really want to know if they're not sure what moves the needle. Let's see what other people are doing and put our heads together and see what comes up. So email me. I'd love to hear it. That's all I got for you today. As always, again, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to the Lisa Pezik Show, and I look forward to hearing what your 6 things are. I'll see you again next time.